Some of you aren't awake yet, I guess. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. You're playing along nicely. My name's Tim Lomax. I'm going to be the Master of Ceremonies today with the Warrior Booster Club Board. And I appreciate y'all being here, and I'm also very much looking forward to the induction of our new honorees. To start off with, I'd like to introduce Bill Sutsui, president of Hendrix College. He's a man of very few words until he gets going. So, Bill, would you come up and say?
Why is that a laugh line, Tim? That's just wrong. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. What a pleasure to see such a large crowd here this morning. Thanks for coming out. First of all, a big thank you to all of you for being here on campus today, to members of the Booster Club and our college staff who worked so hard to put this event together for us. It is a joy to be able to spend some time with you all before a mammoth football game this afternoon with the best football weather we've had yet this year. It's wonderful to be able to honor some greats in the history of sports at Hendrix and to celebrate the heritage as well as the ongoing success and growth of the athletic program here at the college. Hendrix Warriors everywhere have a whole lot to be proud of, past, present, and future, and it is a joyful day when we can get together to remember, to take stock, and also to look ahead. Let me offer my special thanks and congratulations to those being honored today. You were part of a rich and proud legacy in Hendrix athletics, a legacy of excellence, of character, of high standards and expectations, and of dedication to the ideal of educating the whole person that is at the very core of all we do here at Hendrix. You and your predecessors in the Hall of Honor, who we are also pleased to remember here today, and in some cases welcome today as well. You all have exemplified what Hendrix College stands for. Good people, smart people, accomplished people, people of character, athletically, professionally, and personally. You've set a very high bar for those who have followed you, wearing the orange and black of the Warriors, and thank you all so much for that. Your example inspires us all and challenges us all in the best possible way. As you enter the Hall of Honor, you will get a lovely little plaque in the WAC with a few words about your achievements. And I look at those plaques all the time and think about the tradition and the heritage that they represent. But I hope you will remember that your most important legacy is not a piece of metal on a gymnasium wall. Your legacy is a living one, still felt in the pool and on the track, on the court, the course, and the field, on the diamond and in the stadium, still real and still immediate for our hundreds of student athletes, our dozens of coaches, trainers, and support staff, and the many thousands of students, alums, parents, faculty, and sports fans who attend Hendrix events every year. And let me assure you, anyone who has not spent a lot of time back on campus in recent years, athletics is absolutely flourishing at Hendrix. We've had a terrific fall of competition already with regional rankings, national votes cast, uplifting victories, a few heartbreaking defeats, new records, fresh honors for our students and teams, and countless examples of sacrifice, discipline, hard work, true sportsmanship, and real leadership. I've been proud to be on the sidelines for many of these games and meets and matches, and am excited as this year beach volleyball begins competition as our latest NCAA sport, and as we launch our latest varsity team in esports. As you all know, I have done some silly and wonderful things over the years to support our teams. I painted my face orange and black for volleyball at a conference championship a while back, although I drew the line at having a big H on my chest. Nobody needs to see that. I dressed as Ivan in a very itchy wig for a pair of basketball games. I've stayed up late waiting for buses to get back to Conway so I can be part of the crowds cheering our squads coming home, both from victories and from disappointments. I was thrilled to unveil our great new Warrior symbol last year in front of all our student athletes, and I could not be more proud to wear the rings that our teams have awarded me. I feel blessed every day to be part of an amazing community here at Hendricks. We could not have a better athletic director than Amy Weaver. We could not have coaches more committed to their students and to the mission of the college. We could not have a more supportive booster club, parents, student body, and alums. And of course, we could not have better young people representing Hendricks in intercollegiate athletics. They always give 110% on the field, in class, and as members of our campus community. All of these people, every day, are doing the traditions of Hendricks sports and the legacy of our Hall of Honor members proud, even as they forge new paths for our athletic programs, set new and ever higher standards, and give us even more to celebrate as warriors for generations to come. Thanks to you all. Congratulations to our new inductees. Thad, can I ask you to join us? Thank you.
If you would, bow your heads real briefly here. I'll say a quick prayer and then allow us to begin to eat. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to honor these special warriors and the accomplishments they've given us both on the field, on the floor, and in life. Lord, we thank you for this wonderful institution, for allowing us to share the bond and continue to push forward and continue to uplift Hendricks in our community, in our state, in our region, and in our country. Lord, we bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies and bless those hands that prepared it for us. We ask that you provide safe travels for everyone after this wonderful event and throughout this afternoon after today's football game. In your heavenly name, amen.
Amen.
It's my honor to say, please eat. We can let the award winners and their families go first. Now's the time. So our first honoree is Joe Durmon. We have a video from his former coach.
Thanks, Hendricks, for this opportunity to share the Joe Durmon journey as an athlete for Hendricks. And congratulations to the inductees for this year's Hall of Honor. Joe fit well into our team, and from the very first meeting with his mother and he in his living room at home, wonderful meeting, and he decided he would come to Hendricks, which was just absolutely amazing because of the fact that he was a very very well sought after pole vaulter. But the first thing we had to do was to build a pit. We didn't have a pit, and so we couldn't afford one within our budget. We built a pit and we started vaulting. He went 14 real quickly, 14.6 quickly. Before long, we were doing 15 foot without any problem whatsoever. We would generally start the vault at 15. And but before he left, the last meet of the year at Pine Bluff, a special meet, he hit 16 foot, which was just a phenomenal accomplishment, the first in Arkansas to hit that mark. So we were very, very fortunate to have had him as an athlete. He fit well into our team in the sense of he knew how to work hard and have a good time. And that was important in our philosophy. And it was just a joy to have him, and I couldn't have asked for a better accomplishment from an athlete. One last note, he had some difficulty after graduation, and I had become the director of Camp Ozark, and he showed up one day on his motorbike, and he wanted to let me know that, Coach, he said, I am really going to make you proud. Things are going very well for me, and I'm moving in the right direction. And I told him, you've always made me proud, Joe. There was you couldn't do anything that would upset that. He ended up going into the Navy, as most of you in here would know, became a Navy flyer, and after a tragic accident off the coast of California was killed. I think I can say without any doubt that with Joe made Hendricks a better institution. He also made his team a better team, and he made me a better coach. And I am very thankful to have been a part of his journey during this time. Thanks.
You may not have been able to hear, but that end part was really good. He made his team a better team. He made Gerald a better coach. I think that's really what the Hall of Honor recipients are about. Unfortunately, Joe's family couldn't be here today. Casey Sellers, our president, Warrior Booster Club president, is going to accept the award on his behalf. Our next honoree is Kim Tallent Gauthreaux. Amy Weaver, head softball coach and athletic director, is going to introduce Kim.
I told Thad, my assistant AD, on the way over here that I thought I had seen the PowerPoint and I was wearing the same outfit. So, he said it was my AD uniform. So. In 2002, I was hired by Danny Powell as the new softball coach at Hendricks. Prior to me coming, the team was 0-29. So I knew that I had to do some recruiting quickly. And so in the fall of 2003, I was recruiting my first softball class. I took a trip to Houston, and I happened to meet Kim Tallent's travel ball coach. I told him that I was looking for a pitcher. I told him that I would know a lot about Hendricks and that academics had to be important. And so he said, well, just a second. I'm going to have her warm up. I think they just got done playing, but I'm going to have her warm up over here and so you can take a look at her. And so my back was kind of to them, and I was talking to him, and all of a sudden I hear, and the ball hit the mitt, and I was like, thank you. And I was thinking in my head while I'm still talking to him, man, that can't be her. And then again, boom, I'm like, oh man, I don't care what I have to do, I need to get that kid. So through some talking, got her to be able to come in and visit. And she was shy, she was very bright, she was a good student, and I knew that academics was important to her. So after her visit, I knew she liked it, but I was afraid it might be a little bit too far away from home. But we were able to convince her to come, and lucky for me, she took a leap of faith and bought into that she could be a big part of something great. And she was incredibly important and part of the team that went on in 2006, went on to be the first college in the state of Arkansas to win 30 games in a season. On the mound, she was a fierce competitor in all business. She threw really hard. And if I had to describe her as a pitcher, I would have to describe her as wildly effective. And by that I mean is that she would get wild once in a while, and she had a tendency to hit players. So I always hoped that it happened early on in the game because then nobody was going to dig in the box after that. Offensively, she was equally as talented. When she went up to the plate, there was no doubt that she was going to take a big hack and that she was always going to get her money's worth. Her stats speak for themselves. She was an incredible player, a great student, but she's an even better person. She was not afraid of hard work, was a great role model, strived for excellence both academically and athletically, and was a great teammate. One of the greatest parts of being a coach is watching players grow and mature, not only as players, but as people. I'm proud of Kim and the things that she's accomplished since graduating from Hendrix, and there is no doubt that she's an incredible professor and has a tremendous impact on her students every day. Kim Tallent.
I mean, that's pretty emotional, and I gotta be the first one to really go up here. So, but no, I mean, all I can say is I almost really didn't come. So I was here half a semester, right? I went home for Christmas break. Jenny Swart and I were in the car coming up, and that's about a 9-hour drive, okay? We thought it'd be a good idea to call Coach Weaver and tell her that I locked myself in the garage and I wasn't coming back. Coach Weaver got hysterical, okay, believe it or not, and she said she was going to drive. She didn't care. She was going to drive and come get me, okay? And, I mean, I guess I need to take a second and say thank you, parents, for being able to get me up here financially. Thank you. For coming to games, even though you had to drive all night on the way back home to have little to no sleep to go into work, okay? They were supportive. Family, friends, teachers I had here. I still remember, is Coach Hannah here? She's here? Where is she? No, she's not here. I remember in health and wellness, we had to write these journals every week and turn them in, and I still threaten my students today about how I'm going to make them do it, and they think I'm joking, okay? And, I mean, this is a really big honor, so thank y'all for nominating me. Thank you.
Some pretty impressive stats on the slides, and a very nice write-up. Our next honoree is Coach Harold Henderson. I'm going to invite Amy Weaver back up here to introduce Coach.
I've had the pleasure of knowing Coach Henderson for the past 17 years, and I can tell you I am a very big fan. I could tell from the moment that I met him that he was a class act. A thoughtful, genuine person full of wisdom and a true professional. Hendrix College was a perfect fit for him because he embodies what Division III philosophy and what it stands for, which is the highest priority on the overall quality of the educational experience and on the successful completion of all students' academic programs. Over the years, I've been impressed by the caliber of student that he could recruit, and even more impressed by the incredible things that his players went on to do after they graduated. I have no idea how many doctors and lawyers he has coached over his career. And when the team GPAs would come out at the end of the semester, all the coaches would be ticked off because once again, men's and women's tennis teams were at the top of the list for the team GPAs. Coach Henderson loves to coach and is a great teacher of the game. But when you would ask him about tennis, he would always want to talk about his players. And you could tell how much he cared, not only about them as athletes or as students, but as people. Coach Henderson's accolades and his players' achievements speak for themselves. But it is the difference that he has made in others' lives that is the true legacy. Sometimes, as a coach, we think success is only judged by winning and losing. It took watching Coach Henderson over the years for me to understand that a coach's success is measured by the positive impact that you as the coach have on your players' lives, how you can support them, inspire them to go on and accomplish great things. I think Reverend Billy Graham had Coach Henderson in mind when he said, a coach will impact more people in 1 year than an average person will in a lifetime. Coach Henderson.
Goodness, would you keep speaking for me? My brother just said a while ago, he said, I didn't realize that you coached here for 21 years. And I said, well, I didn't either. It seemed like it was about 3 years. And I think that the reason for that is because, and you can see this in the other people you hear from and just meet here, but Hendrix really does have, it gets into your life. I left the business before I came here. I didn't move up in that direction thinking that I was going to get this job. I just wanted to live up here and teach tennis. But I had a very good friend by the name of Professor Ralph Scott, who had been one of my best practice partners, and just, I don't know how many hours I was going to court hitting them back and forth. And I'd always make the first error because he just was committed to not ever getting into the net or out wide. But it was fun, but he was the coach then, and he asked me if I would help him. And I said, sure, I did, and then next thing I know, I had both a women's team and a men's team, and I think I was here about 4 years. It's so inspiring. You've heard about our students, but when you get to work every day with young people that are so serious about their life, and they're moving in directions that are going to go out and save people's lives and going to be influencing. I mean, you can't help but be honored and just wanting to protect them. Anyway, nothing I can do to protect them, but still, I was so proud to be associated with people that were that serious about taking care of others that all of a sudden 21 years was here. So I thank you all. It's been an honor for me to be at Hendrix for this period of time, and I think we're all honored to be in the presence of the people that run this place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. Our next honoree is Dr. John Honeycutt. To introduce him, I'm going to ask former swimming and diving coach Jim Kelly to come up. Oh, there you go.
Just a little history. For those of you who are familiar with this building, next to it is what runs the physical plant for this building, and that's actually the location of where my office used to be. The snack bar is where the pool used to be. The reason I start this way is because it was, I believe, the winter of 1986. This young man walks into my office, and he's visiting campus, and he says, my name's John Honeycutt. I've played football and basketball, and I'd like to try swimming. What a way to begin. And then over that summer, some people I had met from Jonesboro said, John Honeycutt's coming to your place. He tore up our summer league, and they were talking about their summer league in swimming. And then about his junior year in college, I remember a couple of coaches asking me, how much money did you give him to come here? And I had to remind them that we were non-scholarship. John was a very dedicated swimmer. You should have seen what he made his teammates do. I think it was his junior year when he asked all the men on the team to be so committed they wouldn't miss a practice, even our 5:30 practices. And he had them sign a statement to that effect. You should have seen what he did to his roommate when he didn't show up. I think the most important thing is it's a reflection of his dedication. And also, you've read his biography, and I think enough said. you have to be very dedicated to get into the specialty that he is in. And just to close this, I can remember several years ago, I came into a meeting this Monday morning, and people were talking about Tiger Woods and the Masters. And they asked me, "Did you see that?" And I said, "No, I was watching NBC Magazine." And they gave me this weird look, and I said, "I was watching one of my former swimmers," because he was on that segment as the head of a team, a surgical team that was performing a rare operation. So John, you're a rock star. But I think the most important thing is what he has done with his life. And I am very glad to introduce John as a winner and an inductee into our Hall of Honor. John.
This photo was taken a couple of years ago for professional for the hospital, and I'll tell my kids and family now it's not Photoshop, just like I told them then. This is it's a very very humbling to be up here, very honored. So thank you for all of Hendricks. Thanks for family, mom and dad who brought up my little brother and sister many times for swim meets and cheering and so forth, so it's very humbling to be here. I want to be real honest. I want to be very thankful for Hendricks as a community because I'm an underachiever, and I truly mean that. And I actually had one of my professors, Dr. Art Johnson, who told me that during my senior year, you're underachieving, you can do better. And I think that he was right. I underachieved in academics, I underachieved in swimming, underachieved this and that. But it really was the Hendricks community that taught me about being a well-rounded individual. So if he did one thing, and he's totally committed to that, he couldn't be committed to other things. And that over time has played out well for what I do in my life. I love my job and taking care of kids and do those sort of things. And the community here, my professors, Coach Kelly, friends and family, have a lot of me. So I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
A doctor is an underachiever. I'm not sure I get that, but we'll go on. Our next honoree is Andrew King. I'm going to ask Thad McCracken, the men's basketball coach, to come up.
Thanks, Tim. So you've heard Coach Weaver speak about Kim and her wonderful accomplishments. My role with the men's basketball program today is very different than what it was when Andrew played. I had I call it the fortunate privilege to just be Andrew's assistant coach during his time here. But what I first want to do for you in speaking about Andrew is define faith. And to me, faith is believing without seeing. And if you could rewind back in time to when Kim and Danny and Andrew enrolled here as student athletes, it looked very different on this campus. As Coach Kelly alluded to, where we are today was Old Grove Gymnasium, the old pool. Needless to say, these individuals bought into a vision. They bought into it with faith in what was to come. They came into programs that needed to be rebuilt. And anytime you're looking to build a program, you need a foundation. And when I think about the foundation that's required, you need people with faith, you need people with work ethic and standards and morals and ethics, and then you also need a dominant player. We were pretty fortunate in Andrew to have all of those things. And his stats in a minute that you'll see on the slideshow, they speak for themselves. But what is hard to write on a slideshow, What is even hard for me to put into words up here for you are the things that he did that didn't show up there that impacted the program. His leadership, his willingness to show up every day and work hard, to push those not only younger than him, but also those older than him. He set the standard for what our program is today. And so, again, while he helped rebuild and grow the program at the time, I will forever be indebted to Andrew for how he has continued to help sustain the program by staying in touch, by giving back, and all of those things. Lastly, on a lighter note, if you are familiar with the game of basketball or even television commercials at this point, you've probably heard of Shaquille O'Neal, Big Shaq, Shaq Daddy, Shaq Food, the Big Shactus. Has about 1 million nicknames, but none of them top the nickname that this guy acquired in his time on our campus. And so, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce Sasquatch.
That's there for a reason. I might go over the time requirement. I've been writing my speech for 2 weeks. So I was married 4 months ago, and so I think, on top of my wife and I, Katie, writing a book about our success of 4 months of marriage, I think I should just say thank you to Katie. We live in Massachusetts. We met there. I'm just thrilled to bring her back home and to show her around Hendrick. So, my wife, Katie. I also want to note that I noticed this beautiful brunch and ceremony today was missing a keynote designation. And I thought I might show a little initiative and self-appoint that status, and then express how grateful I am for the opportunity to have that today. So, yeah. And I want to thank, the first person I want to thank is whoever nominated me, and then I want to thank all the people who voted for me today, because it really, really is a great honor, and especially hearing from the other former athletes and coaches. It's really, really incredible to speak in a ceremony and be part of something like this college here. I would say that the time requirement of an NCAA basketball season, which spans from the first day of classes to spring break, averages out to about a 20-hour-a-week part-time job. And then in season, from October to March, you can expect 5 to 6 days a week of 2-hour workouts and practice. You can expect film study, games, bus travel for the games, on and on. It's a lot. It's a war of attrition, and you need resources to last and to finish a season. And so the next people I want to thank are all of the Hendricks fans and supporters, the faculty, the staff, other classmates who came to the games. That's what got me through seasons. That's what gave me the energy to really finish out a season the right way. So that's the second person I want to thank. Second people I want to thank. I recently read a book called Everybody Lies, about using unconventional data sources to understand human psyche, human behaviors. Though mildly interesting overall, the author presented 3 empirical findings about what predicts reaching the NBA. And I'm going to use that for what predicts being really good at sports, what predicts being able to speak right here today at something in a ceremony like this. Well, the first is just basketball related. It's height. That one's kind of obvious. I think your odds of making the NBA are 1 in 1 million if you're 6 feet tall, and 1 in 5 if you're 7 feet tall. Second, socioeconomic status is related to making the NBA. Being born into a high income, being born into an educated 2-parent household, significantly predicts reaching the NBA. So don't believe the stereotype that the NBA and basketball is about inner city kids, because the NBA is a league of Michaels and Scotties. It's a league of James and Russells and Charles and Kennys, much more than it is Shaquille's and LeBron's. In that light, I want to next thank my parents who introduced me to the game of basketball and who gave me all the resources I ever needed and all the motivation to help me become the best basketball player I could be. I can conclude that my success was largely driven by what my family gave me. And third, playing multiple sports predicts NBA reaching the NBA. I played competitive club soccer. My claim to fame in soccer was hitting posts against Bayern Munich youth team. I played volleyball in middle school, and my parents wouldn't let me play football. And I even figure skated for 6 months. And it makes sense, right? Because single sport athletes burn out. But multi-sport athletes, you can always go to something else. You have your favorite sport, but you play other things. And that really is an endorsement of what a liberal arts education is. That's an endorsement of what Hendrix is about. And if you don't take classes in your major, you take an everything class. And that was my approach to sports. That was my approach to basketball. Was I'm going to play every sport. I'm going to love basketball the most, but I'm going to play everything as much as I can. That will make me a better basketball player. I often wonder what made me good in college. I was not great in high school, but I got here and had all this success. I was tall, but never the strongest. I was quick, but not particularly fast. I could dribble and pass, but I wasn't a great shooter. And so the first answer to what made me good was my attitude. My attitude was, from my first day of my freshman year, was I want it all and I want it now. I always thought I was better than the person guarding me, and I thought I could make my teammates better than they were without me every time I played. And every game I played, I thought I could win. So from my first game, my freshman year, through my 96th and final game as a senior, I was going to show my coaches, my opponents, anyone watching, and most importantly myself, every game, that I wanted to dominate and I wanted to win more than anyone else. So I'm here to take that freshman year entitled arrogance, package it up in a different, better way, and I'm going to walk that attitude forward as a 32-year-old man, as humble a way as I can. Because that uncontrollable drive to clearly define my advantages made me a better basketball player than I could ever be. That was any skill. That was my attitude that made me better. After watching me play, you watch me play, it wasn't like watching Kobe Bryant or Shaq or something. You kind of watched and scratched your head. And most people on the other team would say, that guy, that's the guy. And then the Hendrix fans were usually laughing. I mean, still to this day, I would do something, it was funny. And they would be recalling some antic or some move that I did in the game. Which leads me to my second answer of the question, why was I so good in college? And that was because at Hendrix, I was allowed to be myself. My coach, Dad, they just threw me out there and they let me be myself. They didn't try and make me into a basketball player that they wanted me to be. They let me be the basketball player I was and encouraged me to be that the best way. And, at Hendrix, I was allowed to be myself. I was allowed to take a lit class on women in African literature and then rush to practice. I was able to belt out my favorite songs in the athletic office, pull the chair on my opponent, or sneak an over-the-shoulder, no-look pass when under pressure in the middle of a conference game. At Hendrix, I had somebody to love me for exactly who I was. And that's the second answer to why I had such a successful college career, is that Hendrix loved me. And I had love here that I didn't have in my previous basketball career. So I don't think I could have had the career I had anywhere other than here. So from all this, you ask, what's my thesis? My thesis is that the shape of Hendrix gave me the love and the chance I needed to live out my college and my basketball dreams. And so I thank you. Here I was able to extend my liberal arts education to include a college basketball career and to create a sports culture that embraced everything Hendrix offers you outside of athletics. And in return, I hope I was able to leave Hendrix with a sports and non-sports culture that are a little bit more closer. So, after losing in heartbreak fashion my senior year, the Trinity and Southwestern coaches came up and told me they were rooting for me. The whole tournament, they were rooting for me. Rooting for us, I should say. Our rival at Millsaps College, and I had just ended his season a game before. I eliminated him from the playoffs. He came up and stayed with me and watched us play. Our other rival at Rhodes drove from Memphis to come watch us play. The DePaul coach quoted in the paper here said, "We played blood and guts defense." And other rivals from Oglethorpe and Center, after I graduated, just wanted to reach out and get to know me because of what we built here at Hendrix. And every season ends in a loss, except for one team here. And my season ended in a loss, but for me, it was always a success because of what I heard from all of my opponents and what I heard from the fans. And we built something here that was meaningful, and other people noticed that. So, the last thing, on a lighter note, is I have two friends here. I haven't mentioned Rosie Valdez-Block and Katie Buswell. And it was 7 years ago, a cold Super Bowl Sunday night in 2012. We were drinking non-alcoholic beers at the Town Pump in Little Rock. And we have this game where it's called Maybe If we play. You should only play this game among your friends, close friends. You say maybe if, start your sentence with maybe if, and then you say something that's going to really zing the other person that you're saying this to. And then you go back and forth, that's the game. So non-alcoholic beers at Town Pump's a good place to play this game. And my friend Rosie, mentioned this story at my wedding when she was roasting me 4 months ago. And she mentioned about Katie who said it, and Katie looked at me and said, well, maybe if you were better at basketball, you'd have more than a blanket to show for it. So I brought my blanket, and I just want to put it around my shoulders and say, I have my blanket, and I'm thankful for you keeping me honest all these years, but I really am relishing this moment because I've been waiting 7 years. Thank you.
Our next honoree is Bill Smith, a longtime friend of the college, and I'm going to ask Bill Sutsui to come back for a few words.
Well, it's a real joy today to induct Reverend William B. Smith, class of 1963, better known to most of us as Bill, or to many people around the state of Arkansas as Billy Boyd, into the Hendrix Hall of Honor. I suspect everyone in this room knows what a fervent supporter of Warriors athletics, effective recruiter for Hendrix College, and outspoken advocate for student athletes, athletics families, and D3 sports Bill Smith is. Bill drives as many miles to Warrior Road games as Mountain Home Charter Services does, and he tries to get to know every athlete and every family, including on the opposing teams. I swear there are some Birmingham Southern football families who believes that Bill is a Birmingham Southern grad and is on their board of trustees. I aspire to be Hendricks' #1 fan, but I know as long as Bill is on the sidelines, I'm going to be at best #2 because he is such a loyal and dedicated supporter. Bill always has a kind word for everyone, a brag or two about Warrior athletics at hand, and he has an encyclopedic knowledge of Hendricks alums, small-town Arkansas, and anybody associated with Highland Park United Methodist Church in Dallas, where he served for 44 years as a member of the ministerial staff. I made the mistake once of going to an SMU basketball game with Bill Smith. You remember? I think it took us 2 hours to get out of Moody Coliseum because it turned out Bill had married every couple in that place. And they had lined up. I was doing crowd control for people who wanted to say hi to Bill. Bill is from Gillette, Arkansas. He attended Hendricks and Perkins School of Theology at SMU. He started off in youth ministry in Magnolia, Arkansas, and has served Hendricks in more ways than I can list, including 20 years on the Alumni Board of Governors, president of the Hendricks Alumni Association, and since 2009 as a member of the Board of Trustees. Thank you so much, Bill, and congratulations.
It certainly is a pleasure to be here, and when Dr. Sutsui told me at the Lyon College game this fall that I had been voted to be inducted into the Sports Hall of Honor, I was deeply humbled and certainly very, very grateful for this privilege, because it's really been my privilege to be able to participate in a way that I have been able to. I have oftentimes said that if you want to see the South, you join the Southern Athletic Association, because it takes you all over the South, from Rome, Georgia, to Kentucky, to Tennessee, to Texas. One of my most favorite weekends that I spent in traveling to see the Warriors play were several years ago when I went to Berry College in Rome, Georgia, to see the volleyball team play on Thursday night. We were fortunate that we won that game. We played on Friday night. We won that game, and the next night we would be playing Emory University for the championship of the regional volleyball tournament there. Well, the next day, though, after the Friday night game, our football team was playing Swanee. If we won that game, we would win the conference championship in football after 3 years of just starting the program back. So I drove back to Swanee Friday night and saw the game Saturday afternoon when the Warriors did beat Swanee and won the conference championship. Then I drove back to Berry College that night to see the Warrior volleyball team defeat Emory University and go on to the finals in the volleyball tournament. And that was just one of many wonderful experiences I've had in traveling to see our Warriors play. And I am so very grateful for the number of parents, grandparents, siblings, and other family members and friends who have traveled to see their sons, their daughters, their grandsons and granddaughters play in a particular sport. It's really been heartwarming, and so oftentimes we have as many there as the home team does. I have tried to be an avid recruiter for Hendricks, and today I am privileged to have my family here, my brother and his wife and their 3 children, and my nephew-in-law and my 2 great nephews, and they truly are great nephews. When my oldest nephew, who is now 7, was 3 and a half, he said to his mother that he knew where he wanted to go to college. And she said, "Oh, where do you want to go?" And he said, I want to go where my Uncle Bub, they could not say Bill, my oldest nephew, so I became Uncle Bub, B-U, instead of Uncle Bill. He said, I want to go to a college that my Uncle Bub went to, Hendrix College. I appreciated that so very much. And then my youngest great-nephew, who's now 3, was due on my birthday, but he did not arrive that day, or the next day, or the next day, or the next day. And so the doctor asked my niece to come in and do a little test on her and on the baby. And he said, well, the reason he's not coming is because he's going to be a nice-sized little boy. Well, she went in the next day and had a cesarean section, and he did weigh 10 pounds and 9 ounces. So I called Buck Buchanan, our head football coach, that afternoon, and I said to Buck, Buck, what are you going to be doing in 18 years? He said, I don't know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, much less 18 years. Why? I said, my niece has just given birth to a 10-pound, 9-ounce boy, and I want you to know that I have signed him up to be a member of the 2034 Warrior football team. When he was still in the womb, we had a 3-dimensional picture of him, and it was amazing how much he looked like he was when he was born. And at a baseball game, I saw one of our former baseball players with his little boy, who was about 6 or 7 months old, and I showed him a picture of Tucker. I said, this is a picture of your son's teammate that he's going to be playing baseball with in 18 years. But what a pleasure it has been, and I appreciate all the support that so many of you have been to our team. It means so much to them to have physical presence, and then of course now we can go online and see the games and so forth, which has been a boon to a lot of our parents who are not able to travel to all the games. And the quality of these young student athletes is truly amazing. One year I was visiting with one of our football players, and he had made a 3.86 that semester, and I was complimenting him on that. And he said, well, I should have had a 4-point. And I said, oh, he said, yes, I took an elective, and I made a B in that course. And I said, well, a B's not that bad. He says, well, that's the first B I've ever made in my life. Like all of us can say, I'm sure. He got a full ride to go to a very prestigious university to get his PhD in physics. But the quality of these student athletes in terms of their athletic involvement and in terms of their personhood as a human being is just marvelous. And I know we have afforded many of them the opportunity to continue to play the sport that they love, while at the same time getting a good quality education. So to the Board of Governors of the Alumni Association and to the Board of Governors of our Student Association related to the athletic program, I give you thanks, and I thank each one of you for your presence here today and for all that you have done and continue to do to support our Hendrix student athletes. Thank you so very much.
I present this to you again. Our final nominee is Danny Ward. There's a video that's apparently not going to play very well from his former coach, R.J. Thomas, who's now a coach at the University of Richmond. So in one of the rare displays of poor judgment, Danny has asked Jeff Lomax to come up and introduce him. While he's on his way up here, I want to say one thing about Danny. My son had the privilege of watching Danny for a year while Danny was a senior and Jeff was a freshman. Danny was the big brother to a team that was more than half freshmen that went on to win the conference and go to the NCAA playoffs.
Thanks. It's an honor to be up here and get to introduce you to Danny Ward. I met him on my visit to Hendrix College when I was a senior in high school. He was one of the first players on the team that I met. And I think his passion for the game and his teammates and winning was something I looked up to so much. And it really made me want to come play here. And as Dad alluded to, our freshman year, we ended up winning the conference championship. And a big reason for that was Danny and his leadership and mentorship to everybody younger than him on the team. He looked out for everybody, and he would let you know if you needed to step your game up. So it's an honor, and please come up here, Daniel Ward.
Last person, huh? All right. I'm not much of a speech giver, so this will be pretty short and sweet. First, there's just so many people to thank. Like Andrew said, it's just, this is a single award, but I wouldn't be here at all if it wasn't for everybody that contributed throughout my life. So, inevitably, I'm going to forget some people, and I apologize for that. But, yeah. So, thanks for the Booster Club for having this, hosting this. It's a beautiful event. The Hendricks staff, the Wellness Center, the cafeteria, the people who catered, the professors, everybody who cleaned up on campus after late nights, just the field maintenance workers. There's just endless people who contributed. All my coaches, teammates, competitors who brought out the best baseball player, person, leader that I could be. Finally, my friends and family who just showed enormous support for fulfilling one of the dreams I had of playing college baseball. My junior year, I didn't have probably the talent to play college baseball. I went to a camp at Washington State University, and I overheard one of the coaches say, specifically, this guy will never play college baseball. It's kind of the PG version of it. So from that moment, I had kind of a make a decision whether is this really a dream I wanted, and if it was, I better do better, be more motivated. So from that moment, I decided I was going to give it everything I had. And the funny thing is, after I made that decision with baseball, it spilled into every other portion of my life, whether it be relationships, studying, just meeting friends, just whatever. It all bled in and it all went together. And so baseball taught me a lot about becoming a better person. And so I think that's probably where I'm going to wrap it up. And just thank you all for being here. And it's been a great celebration to go over the football game. Continue, I guess.
One more round of applause for all the inductees. The next slide, we want to leave you with the next. There you go, the Warrior's Prayer. May the road rise up to greet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. And may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Go Warriors. I'm not sure that's in the poem, but I think it really deserves to be in there. All the inductees, we'd like to have you come back up so we can take some photos. And please enjoy the football game and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much for being here.